issues. We were at okay. So yesterday we saw a little bit about Abdul Kalam sir's childhood and a little bit about his relationship with his father, with his family, and a little bit about he had a little difficult childhood, he says, but he says that there was no uh, want of necessity, but his father didn't approve of unnecessary luxuries. And we'll continue from page 11 where we left off yesterday. So the second page, which is by the time the boat met. Okay. Did you find the page, Ajay?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I am in page 11.
By the time the boat met its untimely end, Ahmad Jalaluddin had become a close friend of mine, despite the differences in our ages. He was about 15 years older than I and used to call me Azad. We used to go for long walks together every evening. As we started from the Mosque Street and made our way towards the sandy shores of the island, Jalaluddin and I talked mainly of spiritual matters. The atmosphere of Rameshwaram, with its flocking pilgrims means visitors who come to take darshan, to go to the temple, those are pilgrims, was conducive to such discussion. Our first halt would be at the imposing temple of Lord Shiva. Circling around the temple with the same reverence as any pilgrim from a distant part of the country, we felt a flow of energy pass through us. Jalaluddin would talk about God as if he had a working partnership with him. He would present all his doubts to God as if he was standing nearby to dispose of them. I would stare at Jalaluddin and then look towards the large group of pilgrims around the temple, taking holy dips in the sea, performing rituals and reciting prayers with a sense of respect towards the same unknown, whom we treat as the formless Almighty. So here he's trying to lay a background about Jalaluddin, who later married his sister, I think, and his relationship with Jalaluddin. And in the last line, what he's saying is the pilgrims who would come at Rameshwaram are mainly Hindu pilgrims. And what he's saying is the ultimately the God which he as a Muslim pray to, he believes is the same divine power or divine energy which the pilgrims or the Hindus were praying to. So he's saying that in essence, all of this is the same. Jalaluddin's schooling had been limited, principally because of his family's straitened circumstances. Straight, straightened in this case means straight, uh, basically means financial constraints, right? They didn't have enough money to study more. This may have been the reason why he always encouraged me to excel in my studies and enjoyed my success vicariously. Vicariously means with a lot of joy, a lot of energy. Never did I find the slightest trace of resentment in Jalaluddin for his deprivation. Deprivation of what? Of he himself not being able to study. Jalaluddin himself couldn't study. He was not sad about that. Rather, he was always full of gratitude for whatever life had chosen to give him. Incidentally, at the time I speak of, he was the only person on the entire island who could write English. He wrote letters for almost anybody in need, be they letters of application or otherwise. So, formal and informal letters he wrote. Nobody of my acquaintance, either in my family or in the neighborhood, even had Jalaluddin's level of education or any links of consequence with the outside world. So what does this mean? Or any links of means good connections. Nobody knew some government official, nobody knew some collector, something like that. And remember, this is pre-independence time. Okay, uh, Abdul Kalam sir was born pre-independence, so India is still under British rule at this point. It was he who made me aware of a brave new world beyond our narrow confines. In the humble environs of my boyhood, books were a scarce commodity. By local standards, however, the personal library of S.T.R. Manickam, a former revolutionary or militant nationalist, was sizable. He encouraged me to read all I could, and I often visited his home to borrow books. Another person who greatly influenced my boyhood was my first cousin, Samsuddin. He was the sole distributor for newspapers in Rameshwaram. The newspapers would arrive at Rameshwaram station by the morning train from Pamban. Pamban is a place. Samsuddin's newspaper agency was a one-man organization catering to the reading demands of the thousand-strong literate population of Rameshwaram town. These newspapers were mainly bought to keep abreast of current developments in the national independence movement, for astrological reference, or to check the bullion rates prevailing in Madras. Bullion, I think, means gold rates. A few readers with a more cosmopolitan outlook would discuss Hitler, Mahatma Gandhi, and Jinnah. Almost all would finally flow into the mighty political current of Periyar E.V. Ramaswamy's movement against high caste Hindus. The Namani was the most sought after newspaper. Since reading the printed matter was beyond my capability, I had to satisfy myself with glancing at the pictures in the newspaper before Samsuddin delivered them to his customers. The Second World War broke out in 1939 when I was 8 years old. For reasons I never understood, for reasons I have never been able to understand, a sudden demand for tamarind seeds erupted in the market. I used to collect the seeds and sell them to a provision store on Mosque Street. A day's collection would fetch me the princely sum of 1 anna. So he's a little sarcastic. 1 anna, if you know, is like 1/100th of a rupee. 100 annas makes 1 rupee. I think maybe Charanjit ji would have seen many annas. I don't
No,
think.
dear, I haven't seen, but I have definitely heard of it.
Oh, you have not seen 1 anna?
No, no, I have not seen 1 anna. I have seen 4 anna, like 25 paise con. From that time, I've seen.
That's why even I have seen 25.
20, 10 paisa, 5 paisa, 2 paisa, 3 paisa, that we have seen. Annas, I have not seen.
Oh, so this is
Anna
even
was discontinued in I think so, 62. Anna, and I am born in 67. So it was pre me.
right, right.
But it was a very menial amount at that time, also very, very, very small amount, the smallest unit.
Correct. So he's sarcastic. He's saying, "Fetch me the princely sum of prince." Means like
That time, that was also very princely. When I was in grade 10, like in 82, at that time, we used to get the pocket money of 10 paise. So it was really, we were very rich getting that 10 paise.
yeah. Today even 10,000 rupees will be less. Okay, coming back. Jalaluddin would tell me stories about the war, which I would later attempt to trace in the headlines in Dinamani. Dinamani is the newspaper, local newspaper. Our area, being isolated, was completely unaffected by the war. But soon India was forced to join the Allied forces, and something like a state of emergency was declared. The first casualty came in the form of the suspension of the train halt at Rameshwaram station. The newspapers now had to be bundled and thrown out from the moving train on the Rameshwaram road between Rameshwaram and Dhanuskodi and Dhanuskodi. That forced Samsuddin to look for a helping hand to catch the bundles, and as if naturally, I filled the slot. Samsuddin helped me earn my first wages. Half a century later, I can still feel the surge of pride in earning my own money for the very first time. I don't know, do any of you have that feeling of owning your own money for the very first time?
Sir,
Yeah? Or how did you get it, if you don't mind sharing?
no, after inter completed, sir, I stopped studies to study for helping my parents for financing, and I have joined it to the shop of a gold shop, and I worked of the 2 years, 2.5 years. I worked for family for helping sir. So I
Right.
really happy for first month to um, income then earning for first
So
month.
tell me, so describe your happiness. Tell me a little bit about what were you feeling like? Were you waiting for the first month, the first paycheck, the first salary to come in?
It is a first experience I have never, sir.
Yeah.
After a 15,
I
16
have never
years.
need. So you say that this is the first experience that
Okay.
I've had. Well, I have never had such an experience before.
This is the first experience I have never had in that
I have
first.
never had full stop, means take a pause. This is
Okay.
the first experience I have had. End of
Yes.
sentence.
This is the
I
first.
have never had such an experience before.
Okay. This is I have never have experience such as this, such as
I have never had such an experience before.
such as an experience before.
Correct. Okay, tell me what else. Tell me.
Uh, and from childhood onwards, from schooling and homecoming and then no sir. After joining a shop, it is a experience for earning first month. It is a lot of hard work for waiting for 30 days to get the first earning money in that I am experienced. So I really enjoyed that hard work is paying for any work at any cost. So we have to keep earning for further also. And my experience and is first month is so happily for giving my parents for my onwards first month salary. I can see really happiness from them for my experience that one, sir, for my
You
first month.
gave your first month's salary to your parents,
Yes, sir.
and on receiving it, they were very happy.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Excellent. Excellent.
Yes, sir.
That's,
Thanks.
that's so nice, Ajay. Thank you so much for sharing. Uh, Chandrasekhar, would you like to share?
No, no, sir. Continue, continue.
Okay, no problem. Taranjit ji, do you have any experience of your very first earning?
Yes, the very first school where I worked, my first salary was 400 rupees.
Which year is this?
1988.
1988.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was the first. And I never knew kid, like I have got salary, so what has to be done. So I came over and gave it to my parents. And my father, he said, no, this money na bache, we have to go and donate in the Gurudwara.
Hmm.
And I felt very bad. I said, I worked so hard. And he's telling, go and give the money in the Gurudwara. But I gave it with a very heavy heart. With a very heavy heart. Because I couldn't refuse him. And I thought that next month when my salary comes, I'm not going to tell him only. But then it for like 6 months. Next month, I bought a watch for my brother with that 400 rupees because he was like, he's 1 year younger to me, and he always wanted a watch and he did not have. And I was having an HMT at that time. HMT was considered as a Rado nowadays. So I had that watch. And then third month again, I bought for my sister, I bought something. Then fourth month, also for my grandparents, they were there. Fifth month for my aunt's children. And sixth month, I had made this gold ring. I still have it.
Wow.
With that money that I got and some money I was taking tuitions also. And with that, this I bought, and this I'm still wearing after so many years also.
So in 20,000 also you cannot get it made.
Definitely. Definitely. And that is like scarcity. At that times, money had a lot of value. There was a lot of scarcity. Like people, my parents and grandparents had migrated from Pakistan.
Correct.
So that time, this money held a lot of value.
Yeah.
You won't believe that I had got a prize of 51 rupees whenever in 84 when I was in my school. I had a essay competition, and that money my grandfather he saved it. And when in 85 I got married, I bought that Kodak ka camera that used to come khatak. I told him, Darji, mujhe abhi ye paise chahiye. So that was something really we valued money a lot. Nowadays, when I see children, they don't have any value for money. Even if you're earning is lakhs, but think about the hard work that goes in.
No,
Late
it was a
nights.
different time actually for India. The economy was closed and we had just gotten out of a very difficult independence struggle and many things like
Two wars we had, one with China, one with Pakistan, two wars with Pakistan, one with Bangladesh. Too much of struggling was there at that time. But one thing I would say that people were very helpful of each other. That has disappeared nowadays. That we cannot see now.
to be honest, I think it is still there, maybe in a different way, but there are genuinely very nice people, very helpful people. If we really look and if we are open, I mean, little less than before, maybe how we are used to, but I think it still exists. Like there are a lot of nice people, and we cannot lose hope or faith in the world.
Yes, that's true. Yesterday there was a question on Instagram. What is your favorite memory of your life? What is the best thing about your life? And you won't believe 99 out of 100 votes they wrote Nani ka ghar. Then I wrote a very long paragraph. I think so. My one was the longest. I said that whatever amount of money that you give us today, that happiness cannot be bought. That aam ke ped pe chadna, aam chori kar le. All that was real fun. Real fun.
So nice. Thank you so much for sharing that. Arun. Hi Shamnaz, thank you for joining and welcome.
Hi, and thank you.
We were just discussing, we were reading the book, and then there was a line where Abdul Kalam sir, he's describing the joy and pride which he feels in earning his first money. And this is, I think, way back in the 1940s. And he says it's just one anna. His first earning is one anna. So we were just discussing with our group that what is their experience on earning the first money. Would you like to share if you have earned, if you felt like, okay, this is my money, like I earned it with my hard work, no one just gave it to me for free, like maybe you won a competition or an internship or a job or something. If you would like, you can share.
I think I haven't I was a student, so
Yeah.
I haven't earned it like you said, but we had internship.
Yeah.
So during that time, we used to get stipend, right?
Correct. No,
So
that's earning.
yeah,
That's
okay,
earning.
yeah,
He was
like,
only a child, Abdul Kalam, in the story. If you missed it, he was only a child, maybe 6, 7 years.
Maybe, yeah.
He would deliver newspapers and he would get that one answer.
Yes, that's what. Okay, so first time when I got it, it was yeah, I felt that like finally I'm earning it, like with like what I really liked, doing what I really liked, being a doctor. So first money I got was really memorable, and yeah, the first thing you do is give it to your parents, like who have brought up till here, like all 25 years they have sacrificed their life for you. So this was like the first thing you can give it to them without asking them for money again. So that was really good. Thank you.
Oh, nice. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, continuing. Every child is born with some inherited characteristics into a specific socio-economic and emotional environment and trained in certain ways by figures of authority. I inherited honesty and self discipline from my father. From my mother, I inherited faith in goodness and deep kindness. And so did my three brothers and sister. But it was time, but it was the time I spent with Jalaluddin and Samsuddin that perhaps contributed most to the uniqueness of my childhood and made all the difference in my life later. The unschooled wisdom of Jalaluddin and Samsuddin was so intuitive and responsive to non-verbal messages that I unhesitatingly attribute my subsequently manifested creativity to their company in my childhood. So he's saying, in short, that a lot who I am in life today as an adult is because of the upbringing which I had as a child. I had three close friends in my childhood: Ramanatha Shastri, Aravindan, and Shiva Prakasan. All these boys were from Orthodox Hindu Brahmin families. As children, none of us ever felt any differences among ourselves because of our religious differences and upbringing. In fact, Ramanatha Shastri was the son of Pakshi Lakshmana Shastri, the high priest of the Rameshwaram temple. Later, he took over the priesthood of the Rameshwaram temple from his father, Aravindan. When Aravindan went into the business of arranging transport for visiting pilgrims, and Shiva Prakashan became a catering contractor for the Southern Railways. During the annual Sitarama Kalyanam ceremony, a family used to arrange boats with a special platform for carrying idols of the Lord from the temple to the marriage site, situated in the middle of the pond called Ramatirtha, which was near our house. Events from the Ramayana and from the life of the prophet were the bedtime stories my mother and grandmother would tell the children in our family. One day, when I was in the fifth standard at Rameshwaram Elementary School, a new teacher came to our class. I used to wear a cap which marked me as a Muslim, and I always sat in the front row next to Ramanatha Shastri, who wore a sacred thread. That is a Janeyo, if you have seen. Brahmins wear that. The new teacher could not stomach a Hindu priest's son sitting with a Muslim boy. In accordance with our social ranking, as the new teacher saw it, I was asked to go and sit on the back bench. I felt very sad, and so did Ramanatha Shastri. He looked utterly downcast. Downcast means very sad, disappointed. As I shifted to my seat in the last row, the image of him weeping when I shifted to the last row left a lasting impression on me. After school, we went and told our respective parents about the incident. Lakshmana Shastri summoned the teacher and, in our presence, told the teacher that he should not spread the poison of social inequality and communal intolerance in the minds of innocent children. He bluntly asked the teacher to either apologize or quit the school and the island. Not only did the teacher regret his behavior, but the strong sense of conviction Lakshmana Shastri conveyed ultimately reformed this young teacher. On the whole, the small society of Rameshwaram was highly stratified and very rigid in terms of segregation of different social groups. However, my science teacher, Shiva Subramanya Iyer, though an orthodox Brahmin with a very conservative wife, was something of a rebel. He did his best to break social barriers so that people from varying backgrounds could mingle easily. He used to spend hours with me and would say, Kalam, I want you to develop so that you are on par with the highly educated people of the big cities. One day, he invited me to his home for a meal. His wife was horrified at the idea of a Muslim boy being invited to dine in her ritually pure kitchen. She refused to serve me in her kitchen. Shiva Subramanya Iyer was not perturbed. Perturbed means was not disturbed at all. I didn't worry. He was like, never mind, don't worry. Nor did he get angry with his wife. He's like, no problem. But instead, served me with his own hands and sat down beside me to eat his meal. His wife watched us behind the kitchen door. I wondered whether she had observed any difference in the way I ate rice, drank water, or cleaned the floor after my meal. So he's being a little funny. He's like, what is the difference, right? We are eating the same food, drinking the same water. We're all the same in a sense. One thing to note is clean the floor after the meal. Look at the manners. I mean, that is a social custom which we can definitely learn. Even at least in our homes, do we clean the plate?
Pardon. Sir, may I know page number in?
Oh, you don't know the page number? Please ask. Don't wait. Half the class is over. Page 13 of the PDF. Did you get it? Chandrasekhar?
Sir, in their page number 13, they have pictures only where
No, page 13 of the PDF, not book. Page 4 of the book.
Second lesson, third page it is. Second lesson, third page.
If you want to go by book, fourth page of the book. But if you want to go by PDF page, if you're searching, then page 13.
yes, sir, can you start now?
Got it?
Sir, now read the sentence.
Yeah, so one day he invited me to his home for a meal. That one. Did you get that? Can you tell us which page you're on? What are you reading? You can tell me then. Chandrasekhar?
Sir, on the whole, the small society of Rameshwaram was highly stratified and very rigid in terms of
Okay, so you are
segregation
on
of.
the correct page. You're on the correct page.
Next
Just
paragraph.
come 2 paragraphs down. Go to the next paragraph.
One, yeah, no, next paragraph.
One day he invited me for his home. We finished that. We are on
Sir,
that
yes, sir.
paragraph. Got it?
Yes, sir, I got it. Got it.
In
Thank you,
that,
sir.
we are in the line when I was leaving his house. That line. Got it?
Yes,
Go
sir,
to
sir, I got it. Yes, sir. Continue,
leaving
sir.
his house, Shiva Subramanya. Yeah. When I was leaving his house, Shiva Subramanya Iyer invited me to join him for dinner again the next weekend. Observing my hesitation, he told me not to get upset, saying, once you decide to change the system, such problems have to be confronted. When I visited his house the next week, Shiva Subramanya Iyer's wife took me inside her kitchen and served me food with her own hands. How sweet. Look at the change, look at the transformation. Then the Second World War was over and India's freedom was imminent. Indians will build their own India, declared Gandhiji. Do you know who this Gandhiji is?
Father of our nation.
Yeah, Mahatma Gandhi, right? It's not Rahul Gandhi.
Yes.
I just thought that we are all on the same page or not, just to keep us alert. The whole country was filled with an unprecedented optimism. I asked my father's permission to leave Rameshwaram and study at the district headquarters in Ramanathapuram. He told me, as if thinking aloud, Abdul, I know you have to go away to grow. Does the seagull not fly across the sun alone and without a nest? You must forego your longing for the land of your memories to move into the dwelling place of your greater desires. A love will not bind you, nor will a needs hold you. He quoted Khalil Gibran to my hesitant mother. So Khalil Gibran is a very, very famous poet. I think quite ancient. I don't remember the exact year, but he's a very famous poet and he writes very, like cryptic and mysterious poems, often about life and universe and philosophy and
He's not a poet, he's a writer, Khalil Gibran.
right. But it's like poems, right? Like shairi, what do you call it? Shairi is not poems. That type of thing he writes, right?
Right.
Yes, sir.
He has
In
some poems and he has these short. I don't know if technically you can call them poems, but maybe they're prose, but they're pretty short. Like they're not long books. Like he has these short narrations, right, man? No?
No, he has written very good books. The Kite Runner, one of the best books which I had read recently. He is a very good writer, Khalil Gibran.
Okay.
I think you are talking about Kabir Singh, the poet. No?
Uh, maybe.
Okay.
Anyways,
Okay.
so coming back, your children are not your children. They are the sons and daughters of life's longing for itself. They come through you, but not from you. You may give them your love, but not your thoughts, for they have their own thoughts. I think it's a very nice line. And he said that children don't come, they are not your children, they come through you. So you are just the medium for life to express itself. And he said that you have no right to decide ultimately which direction that life will take. The only thing is you can give them your love and support and guide them and give them good values and uh, usher them into a good direction, but you cannot force them that you have to be a doctor or you have to be an engineer or you have to do IAS or whatever. You have to be a sports person or whatever, unless that soul or that being is also feels that this is their path. He took me and my three brothers to the mosque and recited the prayer Al Fatima from the Holy Quran. As he put me on the train at Rameshwaram station, he said, this island may be housing your body, but not your soul. Your soul dwells in the house of tomorrow, which none of us at Rameshwaram can visit, not even in our dreams. May God bless you, my child. This is very interesting. The island may be housing your body, but not your soul. Your soul dwells in the house of tomorrow, which none of us at Rameshwaram can visit. Means he's saying that you have so much success and so much to contribute to society that if you're going to be stuck here at Rameshwaram, if you're going to be in your comfort zone, because Abdul loved Rameshwaram, he loved the area, he loved the small town, he loved all the people there, then you will not be able to fulfill your destiny. And the idea here is essentially to break out of your comfort zone. It could be physical comfort zone, which is why you're lazy. It could be an emotional comfort zone sometimes, which is why we're not able to go ahead. And that is what stops us many times in life. May God bless you, my child. Samsuddin and Ahmad Jalaluddin traveled with me to Ramanathapuram to enroll me in Schwartz High School and to arrange for my boarding there. Somehow, I did not take to the new setting. The town of Ramanathapuram was a thriving, fictitious town of some 50,000 people, but the coherence and harmony of Rameshwaram was absent. Coherence means the understanding, it like, oh, it made sense. Like this place just made sense to me. It's like he felt at home. The I missed my home and grabbed every opportunity to visit Rameshwaram. The pull of educational opportunities at Ramanathapuram was not strong enough to nullify the attraction of Poli, a South Indian sweet my mother made. In fact, she used to prepare 12 distinctly different varieties of it, bringing out the flavor of every single ingredient used in the best possible combinations. My mouth is really watering. Despite my homesickness, I was determined to come to terms with the new environment because I knew my father had invested great hopes in my success. My father visualized me as a collector in the making, and I thought it my duty to realize my father's dream. Although I desperately missed the familiarity, security, and comforts of Rameshwaram. Amazing. Uh, Chandrasekhar, you have not shared much till now. Would you like to share some things, please?
Sorry, sir. Sir, on which topic may
So,
can you?
do you want to share something? Something which you heard, something which you like? Chandrasekhar, yeah, I'm asking you.
Yes, sir. Actually, like Wings of Fire, when I'm staying Ramakrishna Mission last 4 years, but I'm unable to read this book, sir, on that time because of my studies and some work in there in hostel. So I engage in study with working together. So I'm unable to read so many books on those days. So, like nowadays, I want to study books, but unable to do studies because of here in college work. I so many they given in college. I fixed on only college work, unable to read all other the news stories books and like these books, famous Wings of Fire books. So,
No problem about that. No worries at all. What about what you just heard right now, right? In the last 10-15 minutes, you heard some paragraphs. Is there anything you want to share about that? Something about what you heard or what you learned or what you liked or maybe you didn't like.
Uh, I like the actually see when Abdul Kalam ji when I have say here the mother or guru wife she took the home and they gave feed him as me also like when I studying my PU like a second PUC. So I'm also like not like all other boys. I'm separate. I'm studying alone, and I'm also not at play together with all boys. When I my mother like not my mother like my mother sister. So she feeded me like with love hearted, and she give all whatever they brought from snacks or anything new varieties. She first feed it to me, sir. Compared to all other peoples in home, she only first feed to me, and she said, "You should eat first. You should.
She,
You are most."
she fed me. She fed me.
Sir, she fed me.
Correct. Correct. Yeah, please continue.
So she said, "You should do hard work so much, but unable to eat food properly. Why you do hard do like this? You should eat food properly because you study more and doing hard work." But
What, so the correct sentence is uh, you are working very hard, but don't forget to eat your food also.
yes, sir, yes,
The
sir.
correct sentence. Would you like to say that again?
You are working hard, but you forget to eat more.
No,
Eat
it's not
food.
about more or less, right? You forget to eat your food.
You forget to eat your food.
Correct. So when you say the difference, just to understand, if you say you forget to eat more, it means that you didn't overeat. She doesn't mean that you want to eat so much that you're already full and then more on top of that. That's what it would mean. That's not what we are trying to say. We're trying to say that you have not eaten even little bit.
Yes, sir, yes, sir.
So you say that you have not even eaten a little.
Yes, sir. Then those days I'm not little like, but she treated like as a child when I'm
She fed,
staying there.
fed me. Feeded is there is no word like feeded.
So, okay, feed,
Fed, fed.
fed.
So
Okay,
feed
fed.
is the present tense of the word, I think, and fed is the past tense of the same word.
Yes,
Feed,
sir.
feeding, fed. So they are the same word but different tense.
Sir.
So I'm not saying all this to say that you are wrong or you don't know, but just because we are here to learn, so you can learn something more, right? That's it. It's like don't feel bad or don't feel that, oh, I don't know anything and all. Just leave all those nonsense thoughts aside. Okay.
Yes,
Uh,
sir. Yes, sir.
be very relaxed. Aram se we can learn and aram se we'll enjoy this book together. The last paragraph. Jalaluddin used to speak to me about the power of positive thinking, and I often recalled his words when I felt homesick or dejected. I tried hard to do as he said, which was to strive to control my thoughts and my mind, and through these to influence my destiny. Ironically, that destiny did not lead me back to Rameshwaram, but rather swept me further away from the home of my childhood. Once I settled down at Schwartz High School, Ramanathapuram, the enthusiastic 15-year-old within me re-emerged. My teacher, Iyadurai Solomon, was an ideal guide for an eager young mind that was yet uncertain of the possibilities and alternatives that lay before it. Means he's like basically he had a confusion, right? When you go to school 15, should I take science, maths, commerce, which are the subjects I should take, what should I study? So he's like every student, I also had that confusion. Well, that's a natural thing. He made the students feel very comfortable in class with his warm and open minded attitude. He used to say that a good student could learn more from a bad teacher than a poor student from even a skilled teacher. Since some of you are students, I think maybe we can read that again. And he used to say that a good student could learn more from a bad teacher than a poor student from even a skilled teacher. During my stay at Ramanathapuram, my relationship with him grew beyond that of teacher and pupil. In his company, I learned that one could exercise enormous influence over the events of one's own life. Iyadurai Solomon used to say, to succeed in life and achieve results, you must understand and master three mighty forces: desire, belief, and expectation. Iyadurai Solomon, who later became a reverend is like a priest in a church, taught me that before anything I wanted could happen, I had to desire it intensely and be absolutely certain it would happen. Have you heard of this thing before? Do you know what he's talking about? He's talking about visualization. Whenever we want something in life, we visualize it first. If we believe in our mind it will happen, it will definitely happen. To take an example from my own life, I have been fascinated by the mysteries of the sky and the flight of birds from an early childhood. I used to watch cranes and seagulls soar into flight and longed to fly. Simple provincial boy though I was convinced that one day I too would soar up into the skies. Indeed, I was the first child from Rameshwaram to fly. I think let's stop here.
Sir, can I know the meaning of seagulls?
Seagull is a bird. Have you
Bird.
seen the birds which sit on the ocean sometimes?
Yes, sir. In the middle of in the shark. The shark.
Shark, nay.
Uh,
Shark is the
trying to
fish.
say that we will the birds will stay in the sharks and fishes. Some that I am saying.
Birds will stay in the sharks. I didn't understand. Could you explain a little more what you're trying to say?
I didn't getting the words, sir.
No,
To
no
say.
problem. No problem. Try shallow end. Are you saying the birds which are in the shallow?
No, no, sir. I am telling was it. It will.
Have you
Okay, you can say that seagulls meaning, sir. I can understand. After I will words come, I will say, sir.
okay, okay, no problem, Ajay. Is there anything else you want to share about your what you learned, what you felt about this from what we have read till now?
Sir, I learned that I learned bonding of the Jalaluddin, a friend of Abdul Kalam ji, sir, where receiving the family for that that lines I learned my favorite. And after I liked that where in the previous paragraph for one income, that one also I really enjoyed that, sir. That the line of Abdul Kalam ji, sir, for first income for giving that parents, that is. So I really relatable that, no, sir. So that's why,
I found it very relatable.
okay,
I found it relatable, or I found it very relatable.
okay. I found it with very relatable to me.
And if you want to be more perfect, we can say that I found it very relatable to my own life, right? So
I
you're saying
found,
it's
I,
what you're saying, right? You're trying to create a relation.
yes,
Correct. Relatable means what? Where there is a relation. So you're saying there is a relation between Abdul Kalam sir and who? Between my own life.
Yes, sir.
That is the meaning of, that is where relatable comes from.
Oh,
Okay, where there is a relation between his life and your life. Okay, so please continue.
uh,
Uh,
okay, so that only my I like.
Okay, okay, thank you so much. Taranjit ji, would you like to share anything?
You know, when the writer, the author was saying about, the father was saying about the children that are born and all, I always use this. I never knew that this is there in the book, but whenever I give a speech, especially to the my grade 10 children when they are passing out, this is my always, to the parents I explain that
Yeah,
we have given them the wings. Now it's their time to fly. You know, the man is the only human animal which incubates a child for 9 months. It is the longest period of incubation. And then bringing up the child, it takes 5 years. But
correct,
till the end of the life of the parent, the parents hold them so close. Mera
correct.
bacha. They don't want to leave them at any cost. Look at the animals, the birds. They teach them to hunt, they teach them to fly, and they let them go away. If they come back, it's okay. Otherwise, they find their own sky to fly.
Yeah.
They have to find their own horizons.
So what you're trying to say is that, like, go explore, be
Yes.
free. The
No,
world is your oyster.
my own children always say, my both children are in Toronto. They always say, well, our mother has never kept us holding back so that we would be near her, we would try to fulfill her dreams. Said no.
One of my
Every time,
teachers, one of my spiritual teachers, he would say this exact thing in a very nice line. He would say that children grow out of childhood,
yes,
parents never grow out of parenthood.
yes. A child might grow out of my lap, but he can never grow out of my heart. My
Yeah,
my children worldwide. I would say not only my own children, but my all children. They really remember me. They always say this, ma'am, you are the one who taught us what real freedom is. What
yeah,
do you understand by you have to be connected to your roots, but you have to be free. So this is something really difficult for a parent as a parent. It is really difficult for me. But yes, I have to keep that smile and allow them to explore their own life, their own sky, their own ocean. It is theirs now. But it is so good that every year, whenever they come back home, they come to meet me. That is the greatest thing. Of
yeah,
that.
yeah. Yeah, no, definitely, it's amazing. Thank you. I think that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much, Taranjit ji, for opening your heart and sharing those things. Thank you, Ajay, for sharing that experience. I know how hard it must have been for you about when you were sharing that you had those difficulties and the first salary which you got and you gave it to your parents and you worked so hard. 30 days as a young adult is a long time to wait for a salary, and then yeah, I'm genuinely touched. Thank you, Chandrasekhar,